One bus was Nagasaki, 100,000 dead, 100,000 injured.
With all its violence, the atom bomb was a weapon in the war of yesterday. War future will unveil weapons with greater potentialities of destruction, hurled in fury to wipe out nations. Hurled in fury, but guided to their targets with the precision of aimed bullets by the electronic
This is Bikini. It is here that the military and scientific personnel of Joint Task Force 1 will conduct the tests with the atomic bomb. Only by unleashing the destructive force of atomic energy against an array of ships could the Navy determine the future ship design of modern naval sea power. The target orientation for Test Able was based on the directive of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It required that the 90 ships anchored in Bikini Lagoon be so disposed as to secure graded ship damage ranging from maximum to minimum. The battleship USS Nevada, bomb aiming point, has been anchored at the exact center of the target array. Here to witness the completion of preparations is the President's Evaluation Commission. They will report the tests to the Commander-in-Chief. Lashed to the decks of ships are samples of military supplies and equipment. Airplanes, jeeps, trucks, and tanks, themselves targets on target ships. Animals were placed aboard some of the ships to substitute for military personnel. A study of their future life history will provide invaluable information. Steel towers 75 feet high have been erected on Bikini Atoll. Within these structures will be housed the remotely controlled cameras and specially designed scientific instruments that will record the data resulting from the blast. Many types of special motion picture and still cameras were encased in huge lead vaults. These unusual enclosures, built of reinforced concrete to withstand the primary blast action, were lined with thick sheets of lead to protect film from the effects of radioactivity, which would otherwise fog the sensitive material. And to further protect film from the effects of radiation, sliding lead panels built over the camera ports and designed to close automatically will seal the vaults, making radioactive penetration impossible. The immense task of transferring personnel and the vast quantities of supplies, instruments, and special equipment from Kwajalein to Bikini was relieved by PBMs of the Naval Air Transport Service. Secretary of the Navy James Forrestal comes aboard the USS Mount McKinley and is greeted by Vice Admiral Blandy, commander of Task Force 1. The Navy Secretary will be among observers witnessing the experiment. Preparations are now complete and crews abandon their ships. Shown here is Captain Low H. Bibby, commanding officer of the venerable old battleship USS New York. Everything is in readiness for the test-able experiment, and military and scientific personnel leave the target area. On Able Day -1, command ships proceed to an area approximately 14 miles from the lagoon where the blast can be safely observed.
Early in the spring of 1946, selected members of the United States Army Air Forces began to gather on a tiny strip of sand and coral deep in the South Pacific, Kwajalein Island. Here to establish their headquarters are men who have been carefully chosen to execute the first phase of Operation Crossroads, to be known as Able Day. The delving into the mystery of the unknown power of the atomic bomb is underway. There's much to be done on Kwajalein during the preceding Able Day. Ground crews are first. Facing these men is the most point of detonation, manning more than 300 cameras, recording pictorially the effects of the tremendous power that will be unleashed. Gathered aboard control ships anchored off the shores of Bikini Atoll is the greatest combination of assorted scientific minds ever brought together. These men are here to study the explosion and its subsequent effects, then to interpret them scientifically so that from these tests may be gathered the most extensive data possible on the true capabilities of atomic energy. In peaceful Bikini Lagoon are the gallant ships that have been brought here to be sacrificed to the devastating power of the atom bomb. A grave on the Pacific's floor awaits many of them, while others are doomed to remain afloat as twisted, dismembered shells. A grim reminder of the power of atomic force. On Eniwetok Island, not far distant from Kwajalein, is the base of the B-17 drone. Radio-controlled and capable of completing a mission entirely unmanned, these aircraft will be guided on takeoff and landing from radio control panels housed in jeeps parked along the side and at the end of the runway. Once airborne, control is assumed by a B-17 mother plane. Able Day will mark the first attempt at completing a mission with pilotless aircraft. This is Able Day -1 on Kwajalein Island. Activity and tension increase around the airstrip as last-minute repairs on planes are made. Ground crews that know their planes to be in the best possible operating condition never cease to search for any minor defects that might impede the efficiency of the planes while in flight. These men will not be in the air on Able Day, yet whatever success might be achieved by the planes and their crews will be in part a tribute to their skill and ability. The hundreds of cameras of almost every type that will record the Able Day blast are installed in photographic planes. Among these is the world's largest still camera with a 48-inch telephoto lens, so powerful that it can produce a distinct photograph of the face of an 8-inch clock from a distance of 1,300 feet. The overall weight of the camera is so great that a lift is required to carry it to its place in the plane. Replacing the machine guns in the turret eyes, and the illusion so created is actually a fact. For through these lenses will pass a lasting picture of the devastating power of the atomic bomb. Flying crew listens as General Ramey stresses the importance of the test and wishes those who will participate the best of luck. The serious business of briefing the crews is handled by experienced staff officers who have carefully planned each move. Takeoff times, flying altitude, rendezvous points, target designation, emergency procedure, control regulations, all are explained so that each plane will be at the right place at the precise moment. On the flight line, fiery fingers of dawn slowly creep over Kwajalein Island, ground crews pull through the props of a weather reconnaissance plane, priming the engines for an early takeoff. This is Able Day. The first plane in the air today, the weather aircraft moves down the runway, gathering speed for its takeoff. Inside the silver fuselage, crew members are already busily gathering and interpreting current weather data. At 0430, the aircraft carrying Generals LeMay and Power prepares for a takeoff. It is from this command ship that all aerial activities high above the target fleet will be controlled. The aerial cameramen discuss the task that lies ahead before boarding their planes for takeoff. To these men goes the responsibility of recording the appalling effects of the atom bomb when its power is unleashed against the target fleet. Will rendezvous at sea and proceed in one flight to the target area, there to function as a closely knit team in accomplishing their mission. From Eniwetok Island, the drones that will pass through the highly radioactive cloud collecting specimens for scientific analysis start their long flight to the target area.
On board USS Shangri-La at sea, Navy F-6F mother control planes are catapulted from the carrier's flight deck. When the monitoring planes are properly located over the ship, the drone aircraft are launched and temporarily guided from the carrier until control is picked up by the planes in the air.
The air is heavy with tension as all eyes focus on Dave's dream at the far end of the strip. As a safety measure, all personnel other than those absolutely essential for operational needs have been evacuated to a point of safety while Dave's Dream takes to the runway. The frightening missile tucked ominously in the bomb bay. Observers scarcely breathe as they watch the gleaming fuselage of the bomb carrier start its dangerous run for the sky. Roaring down the runway, the magnificent aircraft holds the entire island suspended in breathless wonderment. Finally, with one smooth motion, the plane leaves the ground and starts its climb into the morning sun. From their flagship, Mount McKinley, Admiral Blandy and General Kepner pass the word, and Able Day phase of Operation Crossroads is underway. Photographic planes orbiting high above the target fleet, all over the target array, the blast gauge plane parachutes delicate instruments which will record the actual effects of the blast. The stage is set. Dave's Dream is on its bomb run.
Everything is in readiness now, and history is in the making. Observers at sea impatiently await the blast. 0 hour rapidly approaches, and cameras start to grind. Following view, the blast will be seen as it was photographed in slow motion.
Sign of detonation. The shock wave seizes upon distant observers, shaking them by the shoulders, beating upon their ears. To a man 10 miles away, the heat feels like the hot rush that follows when opening an oven door. As the fireball subsides, the initial blast is over. An immense cloud arises, resplendent with myriad shades of purple and rose, designating the beginning of the mushroom cloud formation.